20 plus years. My first holiday at home, and I'm very thankful and grateful. She did a great job.
Welcome back to the world of endless drama, where secrets unravel, alliances crumble, and loyalty is a fleeting illusion. Meech thought he was making power moves when he teamed up with Rick Ross, believing he'd found a trusted ally in the game. But now, it's crystal clear. The industry's not what it used to be, and loyalty is just a word folks toss around to suit their own agendas. After turning his back on 50 Cent and siding with Ross, Meech expected to walk out of prison into a golden future. Ross showered him with love, rolled out the red carpet, and made some big promises. It seemed like a true comeback story. Meech, once king of the streets, poised to reclaim his throne with Ross standing as his most devoted supporter. But as the saying goes, all that glitters isn't gold. The moment things took an unexpected turn, Ross pulled one of the biggest betrayals in recent memory. Not only did he break his promises, but he ran straight to the man Meech had left behind, 50 Cent. And let's not sugarcoat it, that's more than just disloyalty. That's cold, calculated treachery. Now Meech finds himself abandoned, watching the one person he trusted most switch sides to cozy up with his rival. If Meech ever thought he could return to the streets with the same power and trust he once commanded, this harsh reality has shattered that illusion. In this unforgiving industry, he's learning the hard way. Most handshakes come with strings attached, and not everyone is truly in your corner. Why did Rick Ross suddenly turn on Big Meech, and is 50 Cent quietly pulling the strings in the background? Oh, you better believe this goes way deeper than it seems, and the fallout is about to get downright chaotic. Big Meech thought stepping out of prison meant stepping right back into his old life, restoring his power, his respect, his wealth, and the empire he once ruled. But now, he's left standing all alone, watching everything he built crumble as the people he trusted vanish without a trace. The very man he turned his back on, 50 Cent, is thriving on the success of the BMF brand, while the person he leaned on for protection, Rick Ross, has disappeared. Ross is acting like Meech never even existed. This wasn't just a random twist of fate. From the start, Ross was whispering into Meech's ear, urging him to sever ties with 50 and pledge his loyalty elsewhere. He played the role of a supportive ally, making big promises of a triumphant return, only to leave Meech in the dust the second it no longer served him. But here's where it gets downright scandalous. Ross didn't just walk away from Meech, he went running back to 50 Cent. Yes, the same 50 Cent Ross had been beefing with for years, the same guy he called out in diss tracks. Suddenly they're working together again? How does that even make sense? The streets are buzzing, and whispers say Ross might have handed 50 the biggest gift of all. Because if Meech could flip sides so easily, was he ever really loyal to anyone? Was he truly about building his empire, or just looking for the next sweet deal? Now Meech is left scrambling to piece it all together, watching his comeback fizzle and his legacy concerts flop. The industry isn't giving him the warm reception he expected, and it's becoming painfully clear. He's on his own. Who's the easiest target to blame? Rick Ross, the man who hyped Meech up, encouraged him to turn his back on 50 Cent, and then vanished like it was all just a business transaction. Meech thought he was making moves, thought he was playing the game, but in reality, he was just another pawn. Let's break this down. Meech was nothing more than a piece on Ross's chessboard. Ross never planned to help Meech rise again. There was no intention of rebuilding his legacy or making sure he staged a triumphant return. Ross had one aim, to humiliate 50 Cent and take the BMF brand for himself. And when the plan started to fall apart, Ross was out of there quicker than an industry friend disappearing after the money dries up. Now Meech is scrambling, playing the victim, acting like he didn't just stab the only person who kept his name alive in the back. The streets are watching, and they don't respect someone who flips sides so fast. A little cash, a few empty promises, and Meech folded. And in this game, that kind of betrayal isn't easily forgiven. But here's the real tea. Is 50 Cent sitting back, watching all this play out with a grin on his face? Because let's be honest, 50 might have seen this coming from a mile away. People are whispering that he had a hand in making sure Meech's comeback concert flopped. Yet, here's the kicker. Why would 50 even need to lift a finger? Meech was already headed for disaster. The whispers about snitching were spreading. His BMF concert was underwhelming. It looked more like a desperate comeback than a legendary return. If there's one thing 50 knows how to do, it's let his enemies self-destruct. And that's exactly what went down. Just 2 hours before Meech's grand Welcome Back concert was set to start, the whole thing got shut down out of the blue. Ameris Bank Arena pulled the plug at the last possible moment, issuing a statement that read, "Due to unforeseen circumstances, tonight's show has been canceled. Refunds will be made at point of purchase." No explanation, no warning. Just a public humiliation for Meech on the biggest night of his attempted comeback. And who was sitting back, watching it all unfold like he'd scripted the entire debacle from day one? None other than 50 Cent. Before this so-called Welcome Back concert was even officially on the calendar, 50 had already called it out. He told everyone straight up it wasn't going to happen. Now, he's been proven right. And in classic 50 fashion, he's basking in the moment, cementing his role as the pettiest villain the game has ever seen. As soon as that cancellation notice hit, 50 wasted zero time rubbing salt in the wound. He plastered the event flyer across social media like it was his trophy, lounging like a king who saw the crash coming all along. His caption? Oh, it was as slick as ever. "I had nothing to do with this. Please stop calling my phone. I sincerely hope you have a nice day today. Happy Valentine's Day. I'm stronger than you think I am." That's peak 50 right there. Never outright admitting involvement, but making it crystal clear he's always 2 steps ahead. But of course 50 wasn't done yet. He hit Instagram again, this time keeping the sarcastic act going. "If you bought an outfit and were ready to turn up, I apologize for whoever's responsible," he wrote, dripping with mock sincerity. Let's be real, this was straight up villain behavior. 50 wasn't just watching Meech's downfall, he was reveling in every single second of it. The final blow came when a fan outright accused 50 Cent of pulling the plug on the whole event. And what did 50 do? Deny it? Not a chance. Instead, he leaned into it, reposting the accusation with a sarcastic apology. "I apologize for your trip to Miami, but they've been playing with me. So let's build when y'all get back to the city." This wasn't just a denial, it was a move straight out of 50's playbook, making it clear that he's always a step ahead while everyone else struggles to keep up. Meanwhile, Meech was left scrambling for someone, anyone, to blame. But let's be real, he played himself. Rick Ross hyped him up, only to leave him stranded. 50 walked away clean. And now Meech stands alone. No legacy concert, no loyal allies, no one to help pick up the pieces. The situation goes from bad to worse as his son, Lil Meech, loses his biggest paycheck. Lil Meech tried to appeal to 50's sense of family, hoping to salvage the concert. But 50 wasn't having it. That family-first plea fell flat, and now the entire operation is collapsing. Season 4 of BMF is off the table, and let's be honest, nobody's even shocked anymore. After everything that's gone down, it was only a matter of time before 50 made the decisive move. Now we know why. Recently, 50 Cent dropped a bombshell on Instagram, leaked text messages from Lil Meech that set the internet ablaze. In these messages, Lil Meech was practically begging 50 for understanding, claiming he'd give him the shirt off his back. At the same time, he was defending his father's alliance with Rick Ross. But here's the kicker. Lil Meech revealed that Rick Ross has been financially supporting Big Meech, essentially covering his bills while everyone waited for the next season of BMF. And with that, the story took a turn no one saw coming. Now let's break this down because this is next level wild. In the leaked texts, Lil Meech was complaining about 50 unfollowing him on Instagram. He said, "They just told me you unfollowed me on Instagram and now you managing Skillababy with Rocket. I brought him around you first, when you didn't even know who he was." From there, Lil Meech shifted gears, trying to convince 50 of his unwavering loyalty. "You mad at me?" he wrote. "I'd take the shirt off my back for you. I can't believe this. You act like I'm your enemy. I've only ever shown you love and loyalty. I go through my own stuff, but I've never switched up on you." And then he dropped the real bombshell, F. Ross, but he gave my dad some bread so he can afford to pay his bills until our next season starts. Think about that. Not only did Big Meech choose to align himself with 50 Cent's most notorious rival, but he's now financially dependent on Rick Ross. And Ross? He's eating this up. This isn't just about cash, it's about leverage. Ross is keeping Big Meech tied to him, deepening the rift between Meech and 50. And if you think 50 isn't paying attention, think again. Even the game chimed in, which always means things are about to get messier. The game, never one to bite his tongue, took this opportunity to clown Lil Meech for not standing solidly behind his father. The private texts were already a bombshell, but with the game weighing in, the entire BMF saga is spiraling into uncharted territory. And it's becoming clearer with each twist. This drama is far from over. The game took to social media, posting, "Just seen a text from Lil Meech to 50 that got me dying. Hey Lil Meech, you were supposed to be like, F you, this is BMF, and I'm standing with my pops." Now me and Fifth got our own issues, but that ish is on pause while I post this. Then he doubled down, adding, "Then Fifth said, 'What's your little ass gonna do?'" I damn near spit my water out. What happened to gangsta, man? Big Meech? You can't let 50 get at you like that. Let's break it down. By this point, 50 Cent isn't even lifting a finger. He's just sitting back and watching the BMF legacy crumble on its own. The snitching rumors? That's old news. Now it's about power, control, and loyalty, or the glaring lack of it. Big Meech thought he was still pulling the strings, but it's painfully clear he's a pawn in a game being played by people much savvier than him. Rick Ross has taken the role of puppet master, keeping Big Meech close while 50 Cent stays on the sidelines, watching everything unfold just as he predicted. The BMF empire is falling apart, and 50 isn't rushing to stop it. Why would he? He saw this train wreck coming a mile away, and then there's Lil Meech, the one person who was supposed to uphold that legacy is now the one turning his back on it. Think about it. 50 Cent handed Lil Meech a career, a platform, and a hit TV show to honor his father's name. But instead of standing firm, Lil Meech got tangled up in a battle that wasn't even his fight. 50 isn't letting that slide, and now he's openly calling out Big Meech's parenting, taking shots at how his son's future was handled. As if that wasn't messy enough, an old video just resurfaced showing Lil Meech with Rick Ross's daughter, Toy Roberts. This whole situation, it just keeps getting wilder. And let me tell you, 50 Cent wasted no time jumping into the fray. He's far from done taking shots, and this time, he's putting both Rick Ross and Big Meech on blast for failing to set Lil Meech up for real success. In his latest round of sharp jabs, 50 openly questioned why Ross, who now acts like Big Meech's closest ally, never stepped up when it counted. Think about it. Rick Ross is suddenly playing the loyal supporter, but where was that energy when Lil Meech was trying to find his footing? Where was Ross when Lil Meech needed someone to guide him through the industry's rough terrain? Oh right, nowhere in sight. Instead, it was 50 who paid for Lil Meech's acting school, gave him a major role on the BMF series, and handed him a genuine shot at building his name. And now Big Meech has the nerve to act like 50 was the villain in all this? Please, make it make sense. 50 held nothing back. He called out Big Meech for completely missing the mark when it came to prioritizing his son's future. Instead of focusing on helping Lil Meech, Big Meech came out of prison with grandiose visions of being the next Black Pablo Escobar, and in the process, wrecked everything he had left. Let's be honest, that's exactly how it played out. Instead of rebuilding carefully, Big Meech teamed up with Rick Ross, the very man who'd been beefing with 50 Cent for over a decade. Now, that so-called power move looks more like a major loss. The damage is done. 50 has cut all ties and made it crystal clear that betrayals don't get swept under the rug. This entire situation has only added fuel to the long-standing feud between Ross and 50, a beef that dates back to 2008. Diss tracks, lawsuits, and legal drama, it's all part of their messy history. And Ross? He's kept poking the bear. Just last year, he took another jab calling 50 broke, a claim that everyone knows is far from true. But 50 keeps his receipts, and if history has shown us anything, it's that 50 Cent never lets things slide. Now, it's not just him, it's Gene Deal stepping into the mix. This whole situation has escalated beyond mere hurt feelings or industry betrayals. We're talking about money, big money. Word is spreading that BMF might not be returning for another season, despite being one of Starz's top shows. Let's be real. This is a $150 million deal we're talking about. For most people, losing that kind of cash would be a catastrophe, but for 50 Cent, he plays the long game. If he built it once, he'll build it again. Because when you cross 50, there's no going back. And now, those old snitching rumors are bubbling up again. It's not like 50 pulled those allegations out of thin air. Those whispers had been circulating long before he started putting Big Meech's secrets on blast. People have speculated for years that Meech's early release wasn't just a stroke of good fortune. The story centers around Tammy Cowens. She wasn't just a casual acquaintance, she was one of Meech's closest confidants. But here's the twist. Tammy was also a known federal informant. And the talk is that Tammy played a key role in helping Meech cut a deal, getting years shaved off his sentence. Think about it. Nobody walks out of prison early without giving up something big. The rumors claim Meech had to hand over valuable information. And what was the cost of his freedom? Allegedly, it was his longtime friend and business partner. That's the kind of betrayal that shakes the foundation of any legacy. This situation just keeps spiraling out of control. Cuffy and Big Meech were tight for years, running businesses together long before Meech ever saw the inside of a prison cell. But now, the betrayal is hitting close to home, and it's shaking things up in a way nobody expected. Cuffy's daughter, Tamara Gatling, dropped the bombshell. Her family was blindsided when they discovered Meech was the one who set Cuffy up. The truth only started to surface when they dug into the paperwork. And whose name showed up in those confidential informant reports? Big Meech. But it gets even messier. Meech, trying to keep everything looking above board, personally introduced Cuffy to Tammy Cowens. And Tammy? She wasn't just some random player in the game. At the time, she was Meech's power of attorney, and she held the rights to his life story. Cuffy, trusting Meech, thought he was walking into a legitimate opportunity. Instead, he walked straight into a trap that landed him behind bars. When the official discovery documents came in, everything started falling into place. The confidential informant, CS1, was clearly someone with inside knowledge. And let's be honest, Tammy wasn't making those moves without Meech giving her the green light. The Gatling family wasn't about to let it slide. They confronted Meech, demanding an explanation. But his response? He brushed it off, claiming it was all just one big misunderstanding. The deeper they looked, the more the truth unraveled. Sure, Tammy might have been the one wearing the wire, but there's no chance she was operating without Meech's approval. When the dust settled, Cuffy was the one who took the hit, while Meech walked away untouched. All that talk of brotherhood and loyalty, it evaporated the second the feds came knocking. And yet, even with all this evidence out in the open, some people still bend over backwards to defend Big Meech. Enter Young Buck, jumping into the conversation like this was his last chance to stay in the spotlight. If there's one thing everyone knows about 50 Cent, it's that he doesn't do second chances. So when Young Buck tried to stand up for Meech, 50 wasted no time tearing him down. 50's response was as ruthless as ever. He took to social media and put Buck's past on blast, reminding everyone why they fell out in the first place. But then the drama took another turn. Some people started accusing 50 of being a culture vulture, claiming he was stirring the pot just to sabotage BMF promotions. Let's be honest though, who's really gaining from all this chaos? Both Big Meech and Lil Meech have raked in serious cash off the BMF name. Meech's story got turned into a hit TV series, keeping his legacy alive and introducing it to a brand new audience. So while the drama plays out in public, the money keeps flowing behind the scenes. And Lil Meech? He owes his acting career to 50 Cent. Without 50's backing, he wouldn't have made it onto anyone's radar. Yet somehow, it's 50 who's catching heat for simply calling out the truth? Seriously, how does that even make sense? This isn't about petty drama or chasing clout, it's about loyalty. And if there's one thing 50 Cent is known for, it's his zero-tolerance policy on betrayal. He stood by the BMF family. He gave Lil Meech a chance to create his own legacy, not just ride on his father's name. But when it was convenient, they turned on him. Now 50 is making it perfectly clear. There's no coming back from that. Lil Meech is already feeling the consequences. After everything 50 did, from paying for acting school to handing him a golden opportunity, Lil Meech still flipped sides, and now he's paying the price. The same Lil Meech who once lived the high life on the set of BMF is now scrambling to make ends meet. He's gone from cruising in luxury cars and rocking designer gear to hustling side gigs for a few $100. How bad is it? The same guy who was once cashing fat checks from 50 is now out here begging for promotions that barely cover pocket change. One moment he was living the Hollywood dream, the next, he's just trying to stay afloat. And 50, he's watching it all play out, totally unbothered, because if there's one thing about 50, it's that he always gets the last laugh. This is one of the messiest hip-hop betrayals we've seen in years. Big Meech thought loyalty meant something. But now, the very people he trusted are playing both sides, and he's the one left looking foolish. First, Rick Ross was all smiles, acting like he had Meech's back, making big promises. But the second things got messy, he ran back to 50 Cent, acting like he was never part of it to begin with. Now Meech is standing there, realizing he trusted the wrong people, while Lil Meech is out here scrambling to keep his name alive. Think about it. He went from being the lead in a hit show to hustling for scraps, doing whatever it takes just to make ends meet. The whole thing just screams downfall, and 50 is sitting back unbothered because he saw this crash coming from a mile away. The BMF empire is falling apart right in front of us, and let's be real, there's no salvaging it now. So what's the real story here? Did Big Meech dig his own grave by turning on his crew, or is 50 just saying what everyone else is too afraid to admit? Share your thoughts below, hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe. This saga is far from over, and there's plenty more tea to spill.